Hi, everybody. This is Silvio Canto in Dallas, Texas on Thursday, February the 21st, and welcome to our video commentary. It's not been a good year for some elements of the American news media. Here we are, day number 52, and day number 52 of 2019, and we've already had three major scandals this year with respect to the news media. The first one, of course, BuzzFeed. That story in BuzzFeed, I guess it was in the middle of January, when so many in the media spent the entire morning talking about that Trump had advised his attorney Cohen to lie before Congress. That turned out to be a bust. Later in that afternoon, the whole story blew up. Then you have the situation with these high school kids from Covington High School who were in Washington for the March of Life, and that whole story blew up in their faces when people had a chance to see the entire video. And now, of course, the case up in Chicago where the young man who made up that whole story about being attacked at 2 o'clock in the morning by a couple of white guys wearing Make America Great Again hats. What do all of these three stories have in common? They're all about Trump. One way or another, they're all about Trump. They're all about Trump, or they're all about people who support Trump. And all three stories have turned out to be false. And you have to really wonder what is going on in newsrooms in the country that you keep seeing the media fall into this trap over and over and over again. Now, there were some cases last year. I'm sure all of you remember back in, I think it was 2017, late 2017, when Brian Ross of ABC broke a story that they thought that was the end of Trump, and it didn't turn out that way at all. Again, what do these stories have in common? You have a bunch of reporters out there, not all of them, I want to be fair about this, not all of them, but too many of them who are so invested in this Trump derangement syndrome that they basically buy into any narrative that is negative about Trump. And it's really amazing how often this happens. And you have to really begin to wonder what is going on in these newsrooms. Who's supervising these newsrooms? Who is the person in these newsrooms who says, okay, I get it, but double check that, triple check that before we go public with it. Apparently people like that don't exist anymore in American newsrooms, and that's not good for the media. Now, where do we go from here? Well, there's a big litigation about to happen. These young people from the Catholic high school are suing. They're starting with the Washington Post. I understand there are other lawsuits also coming, and we'll see how that goes. I think that if this lawsuit gets to a jury, I think the media is in deep trouble, because I think a jury is going to be very sympathetic to a young man who was harassed in national media for no reason other than because he had a Make America Great Again hat. I think a lot of people are going to look at that and say, no, just because you wear one of those hats, that doesn't mean you're entitled to all of these attacks. The other thing, too, I think that helps this young man is that he was not a public figure. I mean, it's one thing to say things about public figures. That's, you can say whatever you want these days. But when you're attacking an innocent young man like this, I think the jury is going to be very sympathetic. And I have a funny feeling that the Washington Post is going to have to write a pretty big check, either out of court or if they happen to go into a trial. So we'll see what happens. We'll keep an eye on it. But the larger story right now is what is going on in these newsrooms that they always fall into the trap. And I think what's going on is that they're all invested in this story about Trump and about his supporters. They believe all of this stuff. And then when somebody puts anything in front of them, they jump on it like a bunch of hungry cats. That's the story. And is this going to change? I think so. I think so, because if Jeff Bezos has to write a big check, I think you're going to see some major changes in some of these organizations. Well, thank you for watching. We have all of these on my Twitter, we have them on blog, and we have them on YouTube. And if today is your birthday, bye-bye, everybody. Happy birthday. Bye-bye.